Okay, it's time to venture down the aisles, and we'll start with oil. Two oils we use all the time for cooking, and they're great. They're extra virgin olive oil. It's great for your marinades, your salads, your stir fries, anything. So you want lots of extra virgin olive oil and also avocado oil. This is just 100% avocado oil, so that's another great option too. I love this big one. I thought, oh, that's going to be so expensive. I was at Sam's Club and I found this big one super cheap. It was like $3.50. I've seen it in the grocery store at Kroger's now, a little smaller one for $6 or $7. So I don't know if Sam's had it mismarked or it was just really cheap there, but avocado oil is another one that you may not have heard of, and there's a lot of great benefits to using that. I'm going to move that aside. Since we're clean eating, you want it to be exciting and you really want to spice up your food because that makes such a difference to bring out the natural flavors of the food and taste all those spices, and just the flavoring isn't hidden with salt. So I'm going to recommend any Mrs. Dash's are great. They have these salt-free. Here's an original blend. Garlic and herb. I'll just go ahead and sit these right up front here. We have Fiesta lime and onion and herbs. Those are great on any of your meats or salads, or you can just spice up anything with them. Fantastic choices. The other thing, any of your basil, your rosemary, oregano, great spices to use. Use all you want. Get creative. Have fun. Cumin, all wonderful. The other thing is a lot of times we use extracts. Make sure you're using a pure extract. This is peppermint, pure almond, so you don't have any of the artificial flavorings and colors and things like that in those. Soy sauce is great when you're making different marinades or stir fries. Soy sauce is loaded with sodium. Even if you get the low sodium or reduced sodium, it's still just over the top loaded. I recommend, this is made by Bragg's, it's called Liquid Aminos. Get this right in Kroger's. It's a great alternative. The sodium in this, and it is significantly lower than any other soy sauce, but it's still at 320 milligrams or 13%, but that is just a fraction of what you'll find in other soy sauces. So this is a great alternative to those conventional ones that you get in the store. Mustard is great. You can go ahead and add it on anything. There is no problem with using your mustard. Vinegar, water, mustard seed, salt, turmeric, paprika. That's it. All spices, fantastic. If you love mustard, you're set. Ketchup can be loaded with sugar, so you need to look closely at your ingredients. Before I put anything in my cart, I check out the ingredients and the sodium and sugars, just to make sure that I know it's a good choice, because the same product can vary so much from one manufacturer to the other. This is Kroger's Simply Truth Organic. Heinz, if you like Heinz, they have Simply Heinz, I believe, so they don't have the added sugars in there. And the sugar that you get is coming naturally from the tomatoes. So this is another great option. We're going to go ahead and, okay. Seasonings, I was talking about your paprika, your cumin, all the wonderful seasonings that you can have for your foods. Taco seasoning, when you get those packets, again, they're loaded with preservatives. The shelf life is years, and a much better option is go ahead and make your own. I have a taco seasoning recipe that I pinned on Pinterest, and I put it out in some of your earlier posts. It's great. I usually make it. I have it in this jar so I can sprinkle it on my chicken, my ground beef, anything I want. Throw it in the refrigerator, and I've got meats ready and prepared with a low sodium, very tasty seasoning. Something else you may not have seen or heard of, this is again made by Bragg's, who made our Liquid Aminos. This is called Nutritional Yeast Seasoning. You can add this to vegetables, soups, stews, anything. It gives you kind of a cheesy, a little bit of a nutty flavor. It's really great. I bought this because I had a recipe for kale chips and it called for this, so this was really nice on there. When you bake it, the woman at the store told me that when you bake it, it loses some of its nutritional value, so it's always good to put it on your hot veggies or something after they're cooked rather than to cook it with them. So you can find this again right in Kroger's. It's usually in with all the natural food and the whole foods there. And that is kind of a fun new thing that I just found that I really like. Pasta sauces. Again, these are loaded with sugar, so you have to be really careful in kind of navigating through that aisle. I wouldn't recommend any of the prepared sauces, ragu or anything like that. There is a brand that it's Kroger's brand again, Simple Truth Organic. This is the tomato basil. Absolutely love it. We've got tomato puree, tomatoes, onions, basil, olive oil, organic sugar, salt, and then we've got a bunch of spices, garlic powder, oregano, black powder, black pepper, not black powder. So this is a really nice clean sauce. If you're in a hurry and you need to you have some zoodles already made, or even if you're gonna have pasta, just to go ahead and brown some ground beef, throw this in. I always like to doctor it up with a few extra things. I love red pepper in my sauce, maybe a little Parmesan cheese that you grate yourself too. Makes a fantastic, quick, easy, healthy pasta sauce. Or even on top of spaghetti squash. Great. I usually make my own sauces. I do have this in case I am in a little more of a hurry. This doesn't take that long either. I just like to have them simmer, but I use just regular tomato sauce. This is no salt added, so that makes a difference. If you're in the store, grab the no salt added and grab the regular one and compare them, and you can really see the difference. The sodium in this without the salt is only 15 milligrams, 1%. So that's not bad at all. And it's tomato puree, natural flavors, diced bell peppers, garlic powder. Simple things that you have at home in your pantry. Same thing, petite diced tomatoes, no salt added. Makes a big difference when you don't get the salt. And without all that salt, you taste the natural flavoring of the foods that you're consuming. And we just miss out on that because we over salt, we over season, and we just miss out on that wonderful, clean, fresh taste. Beans. Beans are great. They're in your carb group. You can use them as a protein if you want. You want to mix them with a quinoa or some brown rice to make that a complete protein, which means you have all your essential vitamins in there. I have garbanzo beans and black beans. Let's look at these black beans first. I just happen to have two to compare. These are Simple Truth Organic black beans, and our only ingredients here are water, organic black beans, sea salt. This is a Kroger brand, and this is probably one of their, that is the no salt added. If I look at this, it's got prepared black beans and water. But I'm going to take a look at the sodium. The sodium, this actually has 0. This has 5%. So they're both really low. One thing, if the sodium is higher, if you grab a can of beans that's not low salt or no salt, and you're like, what am I going to do? I have all this, I have these beans and there's sodium, there's way too much sodium. If you rinse them and you get all that junk in there and all those preservatives out, by rinsing them, you cut down your sodium by about 40%. So that's huge. That's why you always rinse your beans and never just dump them into whatever you're making. Garbanzo beans, chickpeas, we use these for hummus. Fantastic. Perfect. I happen to have the same brand here, Simple Truth by Kroger, and we have water, organic garbanzo beans, sea salt. Simple ingredients, sodium, 5%. Fantastic. I'm going to rinse them, and I'm even going to reduce that because of sea salt. I'm going to rinse some of that off. Here's a regular can of Kroger garbanzo beans. Not no salt or anything like that. This has the garbanzo beans and water and salt. There also has calcium chloride, sodium something added. It says whatever that is added to promote calorie retention. I don't really want that extra stuff in my food. So this one, if I look at the sodium, it is 14%. 14% versus 5%. That's huge. But again, I can rinse them, and I'm going to go ahead and eliminate at least 40% of that sodium. But I thought, well, I really don't want all that extra stuff in there, so I looked for a healthier option. So some things to think about when you're buying your canned beans. Your best and healthiest choice, of course, is dry beans, but they take a little more time to prep and soak. Some of the soup recipes that I recommend